Welcome back to part 3 of our conversation with Jack Blades of Night Ranger, Damn Yankees, Shaw Blades, publishing hits, people you've heard about, people you haven't heard about. Stay with us. I mean, Jack, I play drums. I am ready to go on tour with you at any time, my man. I won't, I don't have the same scratch as Tommy Lee or, Ricky Rockets, who apparently is challenging me to a drum off.
Or Kelly Kege, our drummer.
And Guy can shake the tambourine. Is there any chance us three could get on the road together?
I'm going to go ahead and pass on that idea. Okay. So I'll let Eric head up that project too. Okay. We'll do a record sometime.
Before we get too far away, every musician that I know has an amazing passion for something other than music. And Jack has this amazing collection of military memorabilia. I think it's from Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders.
I probably have I think I do. I have the biggest collection of Roosevelt of Rough Rider memorabilia, uniforms, equipment, helmets in private hands. I've always loved, the American history. I'm a big American history buff, and honestly, anybody's military history is a history of their country, if you think about it. And so I once I hit the road, I started just going, what am I going to do? Sit in my hotel room watching a bad HBO movie or, whatever? Or am I going to go out? So I'd go out to junk shops and antique shops. And I started just buying American military antiques, like helmets, hats, uniforms, swords, Civil War stuff.
Nugent's looking to go shooting, and you're actually doing you're doing the flea market thing, is what you're saying. You're out there looking for your relic.
That's exactly what here's the classic between the Damn Yankees, like Tommy Shaw and me and Ted. It's like we were in San Antonio, Texas, and we were with Frank Beard at his house first in Houston, like 2 nights before.
Frank Beard, right? Guy, you hear that, by the way. So I got it to jump in here, Jack. If you ask Melissa Lee, the host of our show, what's kind of funny about ZZ Top, she now knows that the one guy whose last name is Beard is the only guy in the band without a beard. Sorry, keep going.
Frank is the best, first of all. He's the greatest guy in the world. He's the funniest guy on the planet, man. I mean, he's just, you can't believe it. But anyway, so Tommy and I are staying at his house. We had a couple nights off, so we stayed at his place. And we went in, and Frank has this, he opens up this garage, and there's 20 Ferraris and Porsches and this and that. But one Porsche caught my eye, was this slant nose Porsche. And he's like, I'm like, man, that's really cool. He says, well, I'm not, you want it? You can buy it if you want it. I got all these other cars. And he said, why don't you drive it to San Antonio? So Tommy and I go, okay. So it's like this red cabriolet slant nose Porsche, right? So we get in this thing, we're hauling ass, going 135 miles, things lifting up on the ground. Between Houston and San Antonio is flat.
Let it rip.
So we're just having a great time. We pull into the hotel in San Antonio. As we're pulling in this killer cabriolet Porsche, badass. At the same time, this truck covered in mud pulls in, and in the back of it is this dead wild boar. And we pull in at the same time as we pull in first, and right behind us pulls in this truck, and out of this truck, jumps Ted in complete camo with his buddy, his hunting buddy.
No way.
And Ted walks up, the guy, he has the keys to the truck, and he goes, park it somewhere close, will you? Threw the guy's keys in there. And then walked in, we're like, that's Damn Yankees. Those are the two sides of Damn Yankees right there. That gives you a vision of what it was like all the time with us. It was hilarious.
Can you compare, kind of the core dynamics of Night Ranger and Damn Yankees? And every VH1 special I've ever seen kind of has the same dynamic going on. And so I don't want to cast the cliche, but I mean, it's got to be difficult in bands. I mean, obviously Damn Yankees is a super group, right? Each guy in his own has had massive success. And so however you want to talk about life, within the band and those personalities and how it works and how you guys stay friends and how you stay successful.
I mean, to this day, the four of us, Michael Cardelloni, Ted, Tommy, me, we're all super tight, always texting each other on group, everything. We're constantly going back and forth and everything like that. And at the very beginning of Damn Yankees, I mean, we decided, all of us, just let's just check egos at the door.
Guy and I do too. We have to do that. Guy's got a big ego, but I try to. It's difficult at times, but we're good.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can only. Poor guy. You're getting all the grief, aren't you?
All night long, man.
You still got the tie. I love it. I mean, it's like,
Just did our
anyways.
show, Jack. We just did. I don't know if you've ever seen our show. I mean, we go on it. You're out in Arizona, right? So what is it? 2:00 your time. We do the show for the last 13 and a half years. So, what's amazing is for us, it's such a rush to be able to speak to somebody like you, like Eric. It's incredible. And what we found is not necessarily you, but they're guys that we admire that actually dig what we do. And I've always found that just fascinating.
And humbling. Yeah.
I'm a huge, huge fan of your show. I mean,
Now, did Eric make you say that? Come on.
100%.
100%.
Hey, man, I love it. I love it. It's awesome.
You're an entrepreneur. You're a very successful businessman. And my guess is you probably got some views on the market. My guess is you probably at least have, made a lot of money in the market because you've been making money for a long time and you've been smart about your money. And, anybody that collects American history relics is someone that's doing his work on investing.
I'm on Whidbey Island, which is an island north of Seattle. That's where I live right now.
Beautiful.
I'm 30 miles north of Seattle on Whidbey Island. That's where I am right now. So, it's weird. I leave all that kind of stuff to someone who's much, much more in tune with what's going on than me. I don't think anybody should ever listen to a musician on like, well, you should invest in this and stuff like that. It's like Alice Cooper said, anybody who listens to a musician on who they should vote for is out of their mind or something. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute.
Right on.
I leave it to the guys that know what they're doing.
Yep.
And so far, the guys that know what they're doing have been taking care of me, really well. Eric knows. I mean, so we're all, it's a real good thing. I mean, it's, life is good. I mean, you got to plan for everything. And fortunately enough for me, because my wife kept me very much down to earth. When I'd come home, it wasn't like, hey, I'm a big rock star. Come on, what's going on? She'd go, do your laundry. Can you empty the dishwasher while you're here? I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll get that. But anyway, that kept me down to earth.
Probably made you watch that shirt right there. Because, I mean,
look at Brad's. That's like Brad's Bumblebee outfit, Kelly's clown outfit, and I've got some turquoise long coat on. We love that. Yeah. We always joke about that.
Are you frosting the bottom part of your hair there? Like you're going like, it's almost like an Andre Agassi, right? Is that what how am I doing?
Hey man, for 1984, I think that was pretty rocking. I have no complaints about the way we looked back then.
You mentioned that your bride has kept you humble. I also understand that she's kind of been the host of some nice rock and roll dinners, that you guys like to kind of be the wayward home for rockers to come and have a big old dinner. Talk about that.
I'm telling you, man, I mean, up at our ranch in California, we were, where I had a ranch for like 35 years in Sonoma County. And Molly, I mean, it was basically a rock and roll B&B. That's exactly what it was. I mean, we have, Alice Cooper's daughter was almost born on our kitchen table. I mean, we had Ozzy one time when Ozzy was at my ranch for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, writing songs and everything like that.
Alice Cooper and Ozzy Osbourne staying with you for extended periods of time. I mean, what did their rooms look like when they left?
Forget that. It was like, and Vince Neil and all the guys in Rat. And I mean, it's like, over and over and over. Neil, Sean and I are really good friends. Neil would come up all the time. We'd record. I mean, Mickey Hart from the Dead was a buddy.
Yeah, loved it.
Mickey'd come over and stuff like that. And Mickey, he's great. He's wild. He's out there, but he's great. Man.
He's a very eccentric guy, and I mean that in a good way. I saw him totally. at the Museum of American History in the and where he brought his, I forget what he calls like his bar, like that thing he plays in the planetarium, and he did a whole choreographed show of music and sound. It was genius. The influences there are incredible.
It was just fun. I mean, all the time, we'd have, and it was creative. I had a recording studio, and Eric knows. I mean, Eric's been up there many, many times. But I mean, I converted my barn to just a complete recording studio. So we'd be up there recording all the time, and everybody would come by. I mean, people that are in the neighborhood would come over. I mean, it just, other musicians. It was a wonderful time. I mean, we'd be jamming with Narda Michael Walden. And everything like that. We'd be doing this, we'd be doing that. I mean, Dave Mason, he was driving around, he showed up and we all sat around and sang songs in the studio, and just on and on and on. It was just a great, great, great place.